Yeah,
Go back.
Let's roll it.
So I think we had the notion that you might start here and we're gonna end around the corner, just in terms of what lights are here, to be able to maximize, if that's okay. But if we wanna follow you around, we can do that.
Well, I was just thinking chronologically, you know.
Start here? Sure.
You'd start there.
Let's do it.
And then you go to this.
Great.
And then work, I mean, I can tell the story better
Yeah.
in order, right?
Right.
And I don't know, I mean, you guys can sort it out later how you
Yep.
use it, but. The whole journey started with the Terminator. This is actually from Terminator 2, and that's from Terminator 2. This one I can't tell. I think this is the original Terminator.
Amazing. Legendary.
Yeah, so this is
Yeah.
stuff Stan Winston created. And then he and I worked together on the next film, which was Aliens. So here we've got the power loader, Sigourney Weaver there,
Yep.
right? This is the real deal. We also had a miniature puppet of it. No CG and no stop motion. It was full-size physical, practical, and a quarter-scale miniature. Yeah. This thing used to have, when we were shooting, this had two guys inside it. One here and one here. There's this belly pan, right? So imagine the guy's head is there, his shoulders are there, he's got his arm in this arm, and he's got his other arm in that arm to the elbow. And then he's moving the elbow with his wrist like that. And the forearm was super lightweight, you know, so that he could kind of get it to do that. We couldn't get any articulation in the hands, so we just kind of waved the hands around so fast you didn't notice. And a bunch of puppeteers off camera with levers going like this, you know, the head extruding out and all that. And you could see the whole deep core underwater installation, the whole underwater drilling rig. So we had this as a miniature. It looks to me like part of the structure is actually missing here because there should be a whole truss that goes across here.
Oh, this connects?
Well, this was on like a Sotheby's auction or eBay or something. We had to buy it back. True Lies is about the only thing we kept from True Lies is you know, the Harrier jet. So this is a fully functional set of davits. And so you can appreciate we're putting 50, 60 extras into a lifeboat and then lowering it down 70 feet into the water. It had to be real.
Yeah.
This is the car where Jack and Rose, you know, get it on.
The heat of passion hand.
Yeah, the heat of passion hand. This was our wreck miniature, and this was our full ship in good shape. This model's 42 feet long, and then now we're getting to Avatar again.
Perfect, thank you. So whenever you guys are ready.
Nice.
I was born ready.
As was I.
I know that about you.
This is an absolute awesome opportunity for us together to be here with you. But
Yeah, we're neighbors back in New Zealand.
I mean, and that's the thing that's even more cool is that for me personally to watch, you know, Avatar and the success of it all, it's like, you know, watching a good buddy do something great. So,
Well, thanks. I appreciate that. You know, it's not me though. It's there's over 3,000 people that work on an Avatar film, and I'm actually kind of proud of that. Most people don't think of it that way, but I'm really proud of the fact that we spend a metric fuck ton of money on these films, because all of that money goes to people. I like the opportunity to make jobs.
yeah, man. I mean, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, so I'm done. I'm unemployed now, you know. I mean, I got another today and a bit of tomorrow doing some, you know, some selling, some promotion, and then I'm just a free bird. You know, I've been on this treadmill with these films since I started the writing in 2013.
Yeah.
Completed the writing and the design work in 2015-16. And then we started full tilt production in 17.
Wow.
Right? So that's 8 years. So if you add it all up, it's really over a decade making these two movies.
You want to take on Awa? You need me.
I see you.
Damn right you do.
So everybody's asking you how about Avatar, and I'm curious where the why is coming from, because I'm not sure if I know.
The why, I think, goes back to my very, very early days with CG. The Abyss came out in '89. We solved a particular problem that I had proposed out of my imagination in the script, which is how do we make faces out of water, right? And we figured it out, and it used computer graphics. And it was the first time it had been seen in a movie where a face, a moving, soft surface, was done with CG in a motion picture. So cut to a couple of years later, Terminator 2, the liquid metal guy, we're starting to refine that process. Cut to a couple of years after that, I form a company called Digital Domain with Stan Winston, who was the preeminent creature and makeup guy at the time. And he said, the future of character design is CG. And I said, well, let's not talk about it, let's do it. So we raised a bunch of money, we started a company. So it was very, in a way, logical and sort of business focused. It was like, how do we push, how do we raise the bar? How do we push the envelope in CG? So I said, all right, I'm gonna write a story that's got every goddamn thing I can think of in it, for characters, landscapes, foliage, and humanoid characters that could be performed by actors using a little thing that was called motion capture at the time. Stan did a video where he captured Michael Jackson's moonwalk. I said, all right, we're starting to be able to capture the essence of a human performer here. Mm-hmm. We hadn't solved the face thing yet. So I wrote this thing, an 85-page treatment, kind of shoved it way to the back of the stack of things I was thinking about, and came back to it 10 years later. And at that point I was coming off a lot of my work at sea. When I finished my last Titanic expedition in spring of '05, and I took that sucker out of a drawer and I read it, and I said, I should be making this. I looked around the technical landscape and I said, I think we're within striking distance of being able to do what I need to do.
Look, I'm a Marine. I'm not taking a knife to a gunfight. Or a prayer. So what am I supposed to do? I can't run. I can't fight. Well, that's right. Awa will provide. Yeah? So where was Awa? Where was Awa when our son...
Jake! I'm in this place where I have nothing. Not my people, not my forest. Even my father's bow is gone.
Is there a message within the story that you think fans may miss? Or
I hope not.
Is there something that you hope that they're actually getting instead of just watching some incredible filmmaking?
I think different people, have different requirements in their viewing. Some people are happy with just the story, just the adventure, just go on the adventure, right?
Yeah.
I think other people demand more from a movie or a novel. They want things that have an opinion about something meaningful, thematic maybe, and I like to put that layer in as well, and that's around, the environmental message. And it took us a while to analyze how the first film worked so that we could still connect with an audience, even though it was a different story. And we found that there was actually a third level that was below thematic. And it, for want of a better word, it's the spiritual level. And it's as simple as the colors that we use, the way we show beauty, the visual poetry. But it's also there in the way the characters connect, the way the characters behave in that world. I like to think that Avatar is the modern equivalent to the Dreamtime. It's something that we all can participate in around the world. The Avatar films make 3/4 of their revenue internationally.
Yeah.
So they're not sort of as based in language, they're based in a visual language.
Yeah.
And I think that's important too.
If you ask ChatGPT or Google or anybody else, the international worldwide sales goes to you.
Yeah, well, money is a metric
Yeah.
of engagement.
Yeah.
Right? To me, it's actual data that's available
Yep.
for how many people have been engaged. So the question is, as an artist, and I view myself as an artist first, how do I fulfill what I'm trying to say without compromising and yet trying to broaden the reach. I feel very satisfied artistically with the new film, with Way of Water, with the first film. It reflects my tastes and my storytelling. I like a good action scene.
You doing this?
Burn them all. I am the fire!
So are you finding yourself with a lot of ideas that never will come to fruition?
Oh yeah, dude.
Like
I
there's
mean,
shit in your head that we'll never see.
oh yeah, and there's not enough time. I mean, I've got enough ideas to go for 500 years.
Yeah.
You know?
I had a feeling, and I'm
Yeah.
just curious. It's like you're not narrowed down. You come up with Titanic, you come up with Avatar, and then that's there's got to be stories in there.
Oh yeah,
that will
yeah.
never-
And there's a lot of non-Avatar stuff.
Yeah, of course.
If I do another Avatar film, I won't do one. I'll do two.
So you have 4 and 5 written.
Oh, they're written.
but not produced. They're not done.
Well, we've done most of the design work.
Okay.
We know what it looks like.
Okay.
We spend a lot of money figuring out how to do it the best possible way in terms of the image quality. We haven't spent any R&D on how to make it more efficient.
Got it.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think that's our next challenge, and because I don't want to spend 4 years on, it would be 8 years for 2 movies.
Right.
So yeah, so I want to figure out how to do them in half the time.
3 billion human lives ended on August 29th, 1997. The survivors of the nuclear fire called the war Judgment Day. They lived only to face a new nightmare, the war against the machines.
So I'm curious what you think now as you sit here with AI and all these other things that are going on. What would you say is something that we should all be thinking about as humans?
So you've got, let's call it environment, let's call it, the threat of nuclear war, let's call it AI, big AI. I'm talking about artificial superintelligence,
Right.
not little AI. That's not an existential threat. That's just a pain in the ass from an artistic standpoint.
And the AI thing is, it's dominating all.
It's dominating all conversation right now, and people always mush it all together like AI, like it's a thing. AI is all kinds of different things. Some of them are hypothetical, like are we going to have a competitor for our sovereignty as the most intelligent beings on the planet?
Yeah.
Are we going to have a competitor in true consciousness? Probably yes.
Yeah.
And probably much sooner than people have imagined.
Hasta la vista, baby.
They all really require us to work together globally to solve, right? So with that in common, I would say the one thing we need to work on is ourselves. Right now we're using different culture, different language, different country as a way of creating enemies and creating an in-group and an out-group, and the out-group's the enemy. So empathy is a very strong force in the human psyche, but when it's so narrow focused to your own in-group that everybody else around you is an enemy, then that's the sort of spiritual barrier that we need to evolve beyond. I make these movies that sort of say, hey, we've got greatness in us. When we see the Na'vi, we see them through our eyes as ourselves writ large, the better aspects of ourselves.
Yeah.
So hopefully people walk out of an Avatar movie with a sense of we can do better than we're doing.
Yeah.
We've got it in us to do it,
Yeah.
but we're not doing it.
Yeah, I mean the home tree going down
Right.
stuck with all of us. You know.
Yeah. I always consider that the great triumph of that movie, that we
Yeah.
could make an audience cry for a tree.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and then the above the drone shot. That was,
Good thing he doesn't bank a hard left right about now.
yeah, that would have ruined it. Yeah.
Did you clear the whole drone thing with Rick ahead of time?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
So we talked ahead of time for
Good.
sure. Yeah, I wouldn't.
Well, it's good. It's good coverage, right? And
Yeah.
I like the way SpaceX, put some kind of a drone up so that the rockets take off right past the drone. They get a great shot. I
Yeah,
have
I'd
to
love
admit.
that. Yeah.
never would occur to NASA,
Yeah.
the most high-tech organization in the world, to put a drone up of, oh no, that's too dangerous.
Right.
Like, no, it's not. The drone's over there.
Ships decelerating. With sky people returning.
Like, what's a good question to ask James Cameron?
With generative AI getting us to the point where we don't trust anything and we don't know whether things are true or false or videos really exist, are true videos or they're just a generated video, I think it's important to point out that we don't use generative AI and that it's all human-based. And so I've been trying to make that point, regardless of what question I get asked.
Yeah.
I always try to make that point that
Yeah.
these are actors performing a role that was written in a screenplay. It's human to human to human, and it gets passed on to human artists who then, fill in and do the world building and everything around those performances. And I think that that's going to become more and more important as we go forward, that the audience understands the provenance of how it was done. So, yeah.
We just bought a brand new 1.9 LED wall to play more in the virtual production game.
Cool.
To do more
Where's
stories.
that?
It's in downtown LA at LA Center Studios.
Okay, it's all part of the new tool set.
Well, one thing I've never done with you is I've never seen your museum.
Oh yeah, let's
was
walk
wondering
around.
if we could walk around.
Let's walk around, sure.
Awesome, Jim. Awesome. Cool, Jim.
Absolutely. Okay, you're gonna have to
museum.
decide which intro to the museum thing you want to use.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
betting it's the first one.
Yeah, I think the first one's good.
It'll cut.
So this is the amp suit, physical full-scale amp suit that was built by same guys that did the Alien Queen years earlier. If you notice, the basic Navi has a big nose like a lion, very wide, almost like a brick, right, with a feline tip on it. When we tried to do that with Sigourney, we lost her character in it. So you notice that she has the most human nose of any of the Navi characters. We build every costume for real so that we understand how it moves. We put it on a model or on the actor themselves and we have them move around. It's not how we capture the performance, it's how we capture the costume, which we do separately, right? I'm not 100% sure these are full scale because Jake in the movie's 10 feet tall. So this is Alita from Alita Battle Angel.
Yes.
It was a coin toss which movie we were going to make. We started the development to solve both films.
Wow.
But we had to do a test.
Yeah.
And I just grabbed a scene from Avatar instead of a scene from Alita. Both scripts were
That's
written.
amazing. Unreal.
Yeah, and then I got so absorbed with Avatar that I asked Robert Rodriguez to take over and do that film for us.
This has been great. No, thanks for doing this.
My world. All right, you just got the complete tour.
I mean,
For
who's
the
getting...
first time, no, I've never done this, done the complete tour of the museum.
Man, can't thank you enough, brother. Awesome. Thanks,
John.
Jim. Appreciate you very much, man. It's
well, you were patient.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, it took a while to get this little gig together today.
Yeah, no, I mean, just so happy to spend time with you, and yeah, man, looking forward to hanging with you in New Zealand again. Oh, can we do a photo with the guys?
Yeah. All right, drop the camera.